Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to show you how to create this beautiful fantasy lighthouse scenery in the app Hipaint. I'll be giving step-by-step instruction tricks to do in this app. So if you are new to my channel, subscribe to my channel and also check my channel playlist. You can find so many Hipaint tutorial. Here I'm opening a 3:4 ratio canvas, and here is the color palette I'm going to use. This is the own color palette I made, so it's full of purple, yellow and orange shades, and I'm using ballpoint brush, leaf brush, also 2B pencil brush. So these are the three brush I'm going to use for this. And here I'm opening a gradient. Make sure you choose one color already and click on this rectangle square and choose the another color and adjust the gradient panel like this so that you get a good look that you expected. So now release the gradient tool, and this is going to be the background, so I'm keeping it at the bottom, and this is going to be the next layer. And here I'm going to use darker shades of purple one by one to create the waves. So basically waves means will be in blue color, but here it's going to be fantasy one, so I'm keeping it purple. And this color combo really works good, so I'm keeping it purple. So in the first layer at the top, I just made the dark purple wave, then create a layer below that layer and create wave like this, and again create one more layer below that, and I'm going to go for a lighter shade than we have used already. Create wave like this, and here I'm going to create a lighthouse. So I'm just creating a layer for lighthouse, and I'm going to rename this as a lighthouse, and I'll draw that lighthouse later because it's a big process. So I just created a layer below that lighthouse because it's a theme like between the waves there is a lighthouse. So this side there is few waves, and that side behind the lighthouse there are waves. So that's the concept here. Going back to lighthouse layer, I'm going to use almost nearer to black but not black, so that kind of purple. And I'm going to use the auxiliary line tool and lock so that it helps me to create the lighthouse better. So using the ballpoint pen brush, I'm just drawing a line, just a slant line, and another one. These auxiliary lines are really helpful in creating that. Make sure you lock at the bottom, otherwise if you fill with the color it will complete it will fill the entire layer because it is not closed properly. And now if you feel it is tall, then adjust using the transform tool, and we can continue drawing the lighthouse. So the good thing about Hipaint is you don't actually need to use the line tool to create the lines, because just draw a line and maybe improper line and just hold on, you'll automatically provided with the straight line. So shape recognition is a big thing that helps us when it comes to Hipaint. And yeah, that's what I feel like lagging in IPS Paintex, because though they provide stabilizer, but it is not that much, it's not up to the level, so it's not at all useful. So I think this shape recognition is much better than that. So we almost going to finish the lighthouse drawing. this triangle at the top, and here I'm going to draw like a grids. So when it comes to fantasy style, you can you don't need to really depend on the real concept or real color matching. And here you can see, if you feel these auxiliary lines are not helping you to draw perfect, then increase the number of boxes like this, and you can feel better to calculate and draw easily. And yeah, almost done. And at the center I'm going to draw another rectangle, so I just created a separate layer for that. So we'll be adding some effect for that separately, so I'm creating separate layer for this. And here you can see at the center I draw a rectangle, and this is slightly different shade from the lighthouse itself. And now release these axillary lines and our lighthouse is ready. Now here I'm going to create a layer and I'm going to draw a moon. So for this I'm going to use the ballpoint pen brush, circle tool, create a circle like this, place it wherever you want, adjust the anchor point till you get the perfect circle, and click on this tick. And now click on the eraser, make sure you switch on the circle tool and you use the ballpoint pen eraser. Now draw the circle again. This is actually erasing part, so it's actually erasing the circle that we have already drawn. By this we can get the circle tool, a moon, very easily using the circle tool plus eraser combination. If you don't know about this is the trick you should know definitely as a beginner. So above the moon I'm going to draw clouds. So again, this cloud is a fantasy based one, so you don't need to be exactly on the same shape, but we can try something cute here. And here I'm not going for multiple clouds, just only two clouds, one at the left and one at the right, and the moon is at between these two clouds. Okay, the cloud shape is done, filled with the same color. So again, the cloud is going to be lavender or mild purple color, we can say. And another cloud here. So I'm just drawing a random cloud, and if the position is not so good, I will change the position of the cloud afterwards. Fill with color. And here comes the another trick. If you feel you drawn on the same layer but you want to move only one cloud at a time and you want to keep the other one as it is, then use the lasso tool, select that cloud again only, and choose the cut option, then move and position wherever you want. When you use the cut tool, the cloud is automatically moved to a new layer and it will be not in the layer that we have already had. So that's one more thing. If you want to move a particular thing shape from a layer without disturbing other, just choose the lasso tool and cut. So here, next I'm going to draw the arch shape. So actually I forgot to draw this, so create a layer above all the layer, use the white color and use the ballpoint pen brush. So I'm using auxiliary lines tool to draw exactly straight line and just make the lines perfectly, and at the top it's going to be arch. And outside this shape we're going to fill with the color. So this kind of paper cut style fantasy artwork. So at the end you will see the paper cut effect. I will show you how to make that along with some 3D shadings, all those things. And here you can see the lighthouse is very at the left corner, so I'm moving a little bit inside the art so that it is visible good enough. Also using the move option in the transform tool, I'm just positioning it exactly at the center of the lighthouse. So when we use this tool we can move the object exactly in the horizontal position without changing the vertical position. So again I'm placing the moon here, and if you want you can also move the cloud. Actually we have to do this arch at the first part and then we have to start drawing all those things, but drawing all those before and then doing that is good. And here you can see I'm using the alpha lock transparent pixel option to lock all the layers, so we can add some color effects to that. So click on each layer and use the alpha lock. Alpha lock, otherwise called lock transparent pixel. Here I'm using 2B pencil and I'm going to add some shading. So this is not going to be a single color one. So already I have made a paper cut illustration, but it's fully solid style. But here in this illustration I'm going to keep some gradient effect for each and everything. So go to each layer and add lighter shade of the color that we have already used, and at the corner using the light beige color or white color I'm going to make some highlights like this. As we have already switched on the lock transparent pixel option, the effects that we are adding newly will not go to the empty areas where there is no drawing already done. So going to the next layer and doing the same process, and going for the third wave using the light color shading and going to give the highlight with some rich color like this only at the corners, not too hot, just very mild like this. And going to the last wave which is behind the lighthouse. Yeah, this is done. Now going to this rectangle and I'm going to give the pink shade here, and going to the lighthouse layer, going to do the same process, give some shading at the top and the bottom, adding some color variation instantly pop up the arts. And here comes the third trick. If you want to color only a particular part of the artwork in a layer, just using the lasso tool select those areas and give the shading. You don't need to create a separate layer for each and everything. In that case, make sure you use this trick, giving some highlight effect using the same brush but with different color. Now remove the lasso selection using the clear option, and then you can add highlight to this. Also to this. Now going to the cloud, and I'm going to start shading with some mild pink shade at the bottom and dark purple at the top. Just give some circular motion to your brush to get a that bubbly cloud effect like this. And go to the next cloud, create the same effect. Yeah, we are done. Next comes the moon. Go to the moon layer. As you switched on the lock transparent pixel option, you can easily shade one side of the moon with darker shade and add some highlights. Though this is not highly visible, the highlight is not that much visible, you can still add and make a difference like this. I actually forgot to add highlights to the cloud, so adding highlights here. Okay, done for the both clouds. Now I'm going to add an coconut tree at the front right side. So using the lasso leaf brush, I'm just drawing the tree. So here comes another tips or tricks for you to learn. So here I'm going to draw the leaves for a coconut tree. So it's difficult to draw so many branches. In that case, what you have to do, draw a single branch or leaf, whatever it is called, like this. So I actually have drawn the stem in a separate layer and this leaf in the separate layer. Now what I have to do is like this. Now position it exactly where you want. Now duplicate this layer and using the transform tool rotate option, just move like this and place it. And again duplicate this, duplicate the first leaf, move each together and use the merge option to merge them. You have created another set of leaves like this. Just place it like this and again duplicate that merged layer, and again we can change the angle position using the flip horizontal option. Place it like this, release. Now I want to add few more, so I'm using the single leaf here, placing at the top, and these two sides. Then and on this right side as well, flip horizontally, place it like this. So our tree is ready, and you can also call this as a palm tree, whatever you can name it, you can name it. So yeah, merge all the layers together into a single layer and our tree is ready. And now using the same block transparent pixel option, I'm using the 2B pencil brush and adding some shadings here, some purple shades, and done. So here I feel like there is some emptiness, so I'm going to add birds. So using the leaf brush, I'm drawing only 3 birds. One more here. Now this is good. Then so what you have to do is I am going to duplicate all the layers. You can see just each and every layer I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to create shadow for each layer to create the paper cut effect. And here you can see, except the gradient layer that we have created, I'm going to create for all the layers. And I feel like that we should add a little bit of yellow shade. So above the gradient layer I added the yellow shade before starting the shadow effect. Now it looks far more better. And yeah, we're going for the shadow. So use the black color and leaf brush. Go to the duplicated layer which is at the bottom, like original layer at the top and duplicate layer at the bottom. Drag like this so that you can see at the top it is white color and the second layer is filled with black color. So now for all the layers I am going to fill with black color. Once I have finished coloring, you can see every duplicated layer looks black color. And for this one, for the clouds, for the moon. Okay, we have done. Now what you have to do is release all the duplicated layers, transparent block option. Now just go to the first layer, I mean the duplicated layer, move it little bit bottom like this or whatever the angle you choose, and release the transform tool and use the Gaussian blur option. Choose 50 to 55 percentage, that works good for me. So here I used 55 percentage. In the same way, choosing the duplicated palm tree layer, and here I'm using 20 to 30 percentage because 50 percentage is too much for this tree. And for the birds, little bit lower. Again, for birds also 55% is too much, so I'm keeping within 22 to 30. For the waves, one by one, slightly like this. So here I'm going for 55% everything, and for the lighthouse 55% shadow. For the clouds, no, for the waves at the background, and for the clouds, no, instantly you can see some effect, that is visible after adding the shadow. Now we have done the shadow effect for everything. And here create a layer above the lighthouse layer, and using the lasso tool I'm creating light coming out from the lighthouse. In that angle I'm just creating an area in a triangle shape like this. Remove unwanted shapes using the remove option in the lasso tool. Okay, now using the 2B pencil option, yellow shade, I am adding the light like this. Now release the selection and duplicate this light layer, and also remove if there is some variation in the shape. Yeah, now I'm going to duplicate this layer and flip it horizontally, then move like this. Yeah, now I'm going to add like a rod between these two lights to create a look like it is the light is coming out from this rod. And add lock, switch on the lock transparent pixel option, add the shading like this, little bit of pink shade. Now we created light, and now what I'm going to do is merge the two layer into a single layer and change the blending mode. I use linear light blending mode. You can also try add blending mode or hard light blending mode or soft light. So here I'm using linear light blending mode, and also reduce the opacity. And here I forgot to add highlights for the palm tree, so I'm going back to my palm tree layer and switched on the lock transparent pixel option and added the highlights. And then I just I just created a group for the moon and its shadow, because I feel like the position of the moon is not so good, so I'm just checking where it looks better and placing. If I used only that moon layer, the shadow will remain in the old layer position, so I just made a group of these two layers and moved it together. Now I'm going to save this as JPG and will show you how it looks. So yes, this is the final look, fantasy lighthouse scenery. Hope you like this tutorial and also learned the trick. So subscribe to my channel. Also check all my Hipaint tutorials, and thank you for watching.